Three, two, one.
Remember that show, 3-2-1 Contact? Did you ever watch that?
I do.
It's a great show. Welcome to Curiosity Public. I am Dutch.
I am Jules.
Dylan.
And
Is
welcome.
not entertained.
Dylan is not entertained, but welcome to another episode of our reaction series where we react to famous bars, celebrity bars, and famous movie bars. And guys, I think we might have, I don't know, if I were to throw out famous scenes in a bar, I think that the bar scene from The Shining has got to be up there for everybody. What do you guys think?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think we unanimously agreed, right? Like, that was the first thing we could think of. Like, oh, man, can we do this for movies?
Yeah.
And it's like the first bar you think of. Oh, no, I take that back. Dylan thought of John Wick, but
Of course.
he's Mr. Special.
I know that's what it is. But unfortunately 10-4 doesn't have any anything like that, right? It's all
Anything real on display?
Right.
Yeah, Synthahol only. Well, let's get a picture up here because I mean, this is just one of the most iconic movies. Period, I would say. And this scene at the bar is, I mean, it's just insane. It's creepy. You guys know who that actor is?
The bar? No,
the barkeep.
I don't know.
You know, you've guys seen Blade Runner?
Yeah.
That's Waylon.
No.
Yeah, it's the same actor.
Oh, wow. I did not know that all this time. Oh, crazy. Huh? Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it took me, like, when I first learned that, my brain, locked up for a second. I was like,
oh, yeah. Like, well, now I want to rewatch Blade Runner.
Yeah, seriously.
Wow.
But what an amazing looking bar. I mean, all the way from the guy's uniform to the lighting. I mean, the bar top is lit like that. It's just so darn cool. I mean, it's creepy in the movie too, but.
You know, it's funny. So this for me is one of those where it's totally made. Obviously, it's made for a movie, but I think it's only going to be good in a movie. I think if I saw this bar in person, I'd be blinded by all the light.
That's a good point. It only works with the cinematography in play.
Right. I mean, it's obviously there to light up, the actors and whatnot, and then to have a decent light on the background. But dude, imagine, because, you go to a bar, like a real bar, half the time I barely see who's standing next to me.
Yeah. So before we get into kind of what we see on the bar, because this is going to be kind of hard. First of all, this movie's from the 70s, right. And it's not exactly super clear. I mean, you don't ever get a really good shot of the bottles. We got another image we're going to look at in a second, but just based on the bar's appearance, let's just rate this bar as aesthetically. Do you find it aesthetically pleasing or not? Dylan, what do you think? Not your style?
No, the reason for that is because it's inefficient, right? So you have all of this lighting columns where more liquor could be placed. So why is there so much
that.
The irony though is if it was all shelves, Dylan would be like, well, there's no lighting. I can't see the bottles.
Right.
No. I mean, you can have lighting elsewhere,
Exactly.
but you don't necessarily have to have. I mean, lighting is weird. I think I don't know. People have different, I guess, perspectives. People love to show off, and they put those LED strips and stuff like that. Man, I don't do that. I'm very old fashioned, right? I'm very old fashioned. All I need is an incandescent light, somewhere in the room, and
An Einstein bulb.
It'll light up the bar fine.
That. Last time I was there, we were lighting up candles.
Uh-huh.
What's going on?
So, all right, Jules, you're Mr. Flair. What do you think?
Oh no, this is awesome. Again, like what I said though. Let me preface with my critique with the fact that this is obviously made for the big screen. It looks cool. It's I mean, it's got everything. I really like the lighting borders that surround where the spirits are on the shelves and whatnot. It looks really awesome. And then there's a glass backing to there. So it looks really good. And then, they have some glassware. They don't have enough unique glassware, I think, so it doesn't make it seem that practical, but it seems like all kinds of spirits. You can make all kinds of drinks.
Yeah. I'm kind of with you on that. I mean, I think it looks cool, but by the same token, I think we'd have to have Stanley Kubrick's like lighting guy to come redo the room if you ever wanted to have this bar in your house.
Mm-hmm.
It would be challenging. I agree with that.
I have a
If
question.
I have this bar though, I would seriously want the soundtrack playing too.
Oh yeah,
Because it's one of those where if I'm approaching this thing, I want to hear like whatever it was, like the horn or
yeah. All right.
tuba
Well,
that's
let's
playing.
get into what's on the shelf actually, and we'll talk about the scene a little bit because Jack Torrance comes in and he's been sober, and then all of a sudden he walks in here and the bartender's here and it's fully stocked, right?
Yeah.
And it used to annoy me because he sits down and he's basically like, pour me a bourbon. And the guy reaches for Jack Daniels and pours him Jack Daniels.
You mean this?
Yes, exactly. Dylan's favorite ever.
Favorite bourbon, right? Yeah.
Yeah, your favorite bourbon. I mean, okay, yes, of course. Technically, there's not that much of a difference, and it could be called bourbon maybe, but I don't know. For some reason, that always bugged me. That you guys ever get annoyed with that, or am I just weird?
It's funny because like I think it annoys me more now than it did when I watched this movie. Mostly because having to learn the distinction and whatnot. It's yeah, but honestly, when I rewatch the movie, it doesn't bother me, I guess, as much. Just only in hindsight.
Dylan, you don't even care.
I don't really care because I'm just. I mean, I just think that it was not as an afterthought. I don't think they were really thinking
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
However, I don't know. I mean, maybe they did it on purpose.
Which is kind of weird, only because it feels like a Stanley Kubrick movie. It's like everything almost has.
Well, when I think about it, it does make sense though, because Jack Torrance, Jack Daniels, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. Why not use Jack Daniels, right? I mean,
Yeah,
Right.
fits.
then he shouldn't have said bourbon. He should have just said whiskey.
Whiskey.
I mean, literally one word change.
Just say whiskey. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pour me a whiskey.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Well, let's switch the image here. Okay, so here is probably the best close-up shot of the bar you get. This is right after he orders the shot of Jack. Actually, doesn't even do that. He's like, I've got, what is it, 2 10s and 2 5s in my pocket.
In my pocket.
Yeah, and then he opens his wallet and doesn't have any money. He's like, how's my credit here, right? And then, of course, the bartender turns around and grabs the bottle of Jack. Now, the thing we should know is that is definitely an old bottle of Jack. That's definitely the 86 proof.
That's like the only thing I could see, too.
Or sorry, yeah, I mean, that's pretty clear.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, obviously on the top shelf in the upper right, we do see, I think, a Stolichnaya bottle. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of stuff there that I just don't recognize, man.
Yeah.
Well, they're all.
Contra.
And then I think the one right near. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Like right at the hump of his back, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
What did you say that is? Cointreau?
Yeah.
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 And there's a bunch of like I think like brandy.
Yeah, I think there's some brandy. I think the stuff on the bottom shelf, the green bottles on the bottom shelf to the left, might be some Scotch bottles. It's so hard to tell.
I mean, the green bottle. You're always thinking, is that Lefroy, right? Or
Yeah.
is that? Doesn't look like Lagavulin. It doesn't look like.
No.
Half these bottles are not open.
Movie props.
Some of
What's
the
funny
some
is
of
like,
the
they don't even look like. Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know.
No, they're all. I think they're all liquor
guys
bottles.
actually just put labels on stuff.
Why?
That'd be impressive detail.
The amount of time to make that versus go to the grocery store and just buy it. Like think about the production time.
Oh, I am. Production people have a lot of time to do that, dude. They have to.
Yeah, I mean, the
justify
other thing too is
their
like, you got to remember, like in the 70s, a lot of brands used slightly different labeling. It's just not going to pop out to our eyes because we
Right.
weren't in bars in the 70s, and it's going to look a little foreign to us. But yeah, I mean, it's
yourself.
really weird to look at a full bar spread and like you can pick out the Jack Daniels, we can pick out the Cointreau and the Stoli, but aside from that, like I don't see.
Maybe the Tanqueray above his head.
Like
It's got
the
like
right
the
the
red-
red tip, right?
The red
Yeah.
thing, yeah.
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 Red wax.
What's the
Interesting. Okay,
what's
so-
the bottle on the right?
I was just gonna ask that too. The top right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, in the second shelf series, yeah, that looks like some sort of a cognac or something. I think.
Yeah.
And I thought initially that was like, I think the bottle is different, but like a Four Roses, like yellow label,
Yeah.
I
There's
don't
some
know.
funky stuff up there. So here's the question I got for you guys then for this bar. Since it's kind of hard to know what's on there, I don't think we can make any recommendations for what they should have done. But can you think of a bottle that that whiskey drinkers today know of that would fit perfectly on this shelf. It would not look out of place.
Oh yeah, easily, dude. And you know, it could be apropos. I would say Maker's Mark on there because you get the red wax. Could be apropos with this kind of movie.
Hmm.
I don't know, man.
Red wax with red blood. It's like that wax dripping, dude. Oh,
Okay,
it's perfect.
okay. I see your point for the artistic side.
Oh, totally
you know what I
artistic.
think? You know what I think would kind of fit would be the Remus Repeal bottle,
Oh,
Art Deco style.
Art Deco. Any of the Art Deco stuff.
Yeah, I think that would fit right in there. You wouldn't even, we could Photoshop it in there and it would look great.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I chose one for that would stand out.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Dylan.
Oh, it's
Anything?
easy. I would add Jack Daniel's single barrel proof. And when he says, "Oh yeah, give me some bourbon," pop that open.
Give him.
Yeah, Dylan's version of this story, it's just all George T. Stagg.
Yeah, exactly.
Shelf
Yeah,
to
that
Dude,
was-
shelf.
Stag would fit.
It would
Properly
it,
with
yeah,
this
it would be
thing.
really
It
nice.
would blend
right?
in.
Yeah, I mean the BTAC bottles I think can fit in any bar. I mean they're so nondescript in a
Mhm.
lot of ways that they could easily fit in.
True.
Yeah, I also like the E.H. Taylor, the old timey kind of style.
But I still think like the Four Roses
true.
yellow
E.H. Taylor.
label.
If we're going for like the look too, like old granddad.
Yeah, that
Would
could
fit in
totally
there.
work.
Yeah.
I was half expecting to see a bottle of Old Grandad on these shelves when I was looking.
True.
Yeah.
Wow, that's true. That's true. That
Yeah.
would be a
Good point.
one.
All right, guys. Would you ever get a drink at the Overlook Hotel bar?
No.
Hell yeah. Why wouldn't you, Dylan? Come on.
Yeah, because you'd be stuck there forever, and you'd freeze to death.
But you wouldn't know it.
No, you'd be dead.
You'd be told that you've always been there.
Yeah.
You've always been the caretaker, sir.
Exactly.
All right, guys. So what's your rating?
Go back to the picture.
Overall aesthetic rating of the bar.
Yeah, we can only really
No, you should
Agreed.
just
Aesthetic.
take in what you
the
see.
offering.
Okay, given everything we've seen, overall impressions, let's give it a 1 to 10 rating on this bar. All things considered, the bottles that we can pick out, that we think we can name, the way the bar looks, the way the bartender's dressed even, the fact that you're going to be getting old Jack Daniels on this bar,
Mhm.
and maybe there's like a dusty something really nice right behind the bartender that we can't see.
Yep.
Right.
Everything taken into account, 1 to 10. Jules, what do you rate this?
I'm gonna give this a 8.
Mm.
Very
8
impressive.
out of 10.
Dylan?
Okay. I would give this without knowing every single bottle. I'd give it a 7 out of 10. And again, the reason is this is a bar. If I went to this bar, I'd be excited to explore. Right? I'm not gonna go for Jack. I'm gonna be going for all the stuff in the back, the dusty
The
stuff.
cognac.
Yeah, I want to try those because man, they haven't been touched. I want to try that. So
Yeah.
7 out of 10. I don't like those columns and the waste of space. I don't like the light.
We are gonna be blinded by the light.
Yeah,
That's-
I love the bartender clothes though. That's
Oh,
like
yeah.
my kind of style. That's like my cousin Vinny. The right. That's the
So
that's
that's your style because that's what you wear to work.
yeah. I love it. I'd be wearing that. It's like, I wore all this.
He's washing the dishes right off to the
For you.
side. You can't see him.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
So
Yeah, I'm right there with you guys. I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10 as well. I like the aesthetic.
Yeah.
I would like to see some more whiskey bottles personally.
Of course.
But you're right. This would be the perfect kind of bar to explore. This would be the kind of bar you'd walk into if it's not very crowded. You talk to the bartender and say, "Hey, make me a drink."
Yeah.
You know,
I would
make
love to
something-
try that
Well,
thing. In
this
the
would also
upper
be
right
the kind
corner.
of bar where they have like a hidden gem,
Yeah.
like like somewhere there that it's going to be like, oh man, I didn't know you guys still had this. Pour me a shot.
I think he would make a really good old fashioned.
oh yeah,
I think those kind of things like what do you call it? The what's that thing that Dutch loves?
White Claw.
Highball,
There you have it.
White Claw.
what
The
is that
truth
drink?
comes out.
I don't
A
know.
highball.
I said highball.
Not a highball.
Huh?
I don't want to say it. What is that? What is that one that he loves?
I don't know what you're talking
Cocktail?
about.
Yeah, cocktail.
Yeah. What's this?
I don't
What's
know
your
that I've
favorite
ever said that
cocktail?
before.
I forgot what it
An
was.
old fashioned?
Old fashions.
The other one. Oh, no, I'm sorry. The Negroni.
Oh yeah, I love Negroni.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, he
Negroni.
loves the Negroni. I think,
Yeah.
and he would make a Negroni in there.
Yeah, he would make a great Negroni.
Right.
There was definitely some gin and there was definitely some vermouth in that bar.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of those
think-
weird looking bottles.
You
are
know,
probably
the thing is though, like, do you think that would be well stocked with tequila?
no.
No.
Yeah, I
there's
don't
no
think so
tequila
either.
in that
So
bar.
no tequila. So no margaritas on
No.
the menu there.
You're not ordering margarita there, man. You'd be doing
Yeah.
old fashioned
No, I'm just
Negroni
wondering. But yeah, it's
and
with that
drinking
Art
the
Deco feel. It's kind of
old fashioned Jack Daniels.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. All right, guys. Jules, why don't you take us out of this episode?
Oh yeah, that was fun. Tell us what you guys think in the comments down below. Give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Just let us know how you feel about this episode. Subscribe for more videos from Curiosity Public. If you want to help our channel out, please consider joining Curiosity Private, which is the membership program here on YouTube. Another way to help us out is by buying t-shirts. We'll have a link in the description below. Check out our podcast on all the major podcast platforms out there. As always, stay safe, stay healthy.
Stay curious.
Oh, you gotta ask the viewers to rate it. I want to know what they think.
Well, you just did, Dylan. Thanks.
You just did. It's going to be in the credits every time after the credits.
Yeah, comment below. What do you think? Number one, what's your rating from 0 to 10? And then, would you go to this bar?
And tell us what other movies out there with bars in it you guys want us to go through.
Oh, yeah, that would be helpful.
That's good enough.
And that stays in there.
Yeah.